Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Endless Celts Podcast. Hope you're all keeping well. As you can see, it's not the deadly duo, it's the Legion of Doom. How are you, Willie?
Very well, mate. Looking forward to this. Got a wee day off
Good, man.
today, and I'm off work till Friday, so it's ideal.
Well, lucky for
A
you.
wee day with the family today. So, looking forward to talking
Good,
about
man.
us getting pumped again.
European football and all this delights for Celtic. I've had an absolutely hectic day getting new floor and all, but it's all done now. So we're here to talk Celtic. People are in already. Jed Thomas, great to have you on. And again, another cracking performance by you in the Fury takeover, big man. It was excellent. Paul Dad, remember I called him Duet? That's fucking hilarious. I even said that before. Ryan Kelly's in. Frank Kennedy as well. So great to have you along this early on the podcast. And Willie, as you said, another pumping in European football for Celtic. We finished bottom of the group. We go out with a whimper. We are on 2 points. I know all the fun and kind of point of fun of their neighbours being the worst team and all that, but we're not far off them if we're honest there. Like 2 draws against Shakhtar. We'll focus on the Bernabeu, under the lights with the black kit. Beforehand, I mean, we were speaking and we weren't too concerned that we get rolled over and stuff like that, but get into the game, getting closer to it, well, even before we touch upon it, how did you feel?
I was super excited before the game. Absolutely.
Thanks, Al.
I was buzzing for the game. Kenny was away there. It looked like it was brilliant, mate. Super excited. It didn't matter. It wasn't a dead rubber to me. We were playing the Champions of Europe, one of the best teams in the world, if not the best team, and history-wise as well, they're right up there. I was buzzing for the game, and then flabbergasted after about 20 minutes when we were 2 down, and I thought we were, well, in my opinion, I thought we were a better team. And at that point, I thought we were pressing well. But, I mean, I think the whole game was just a story of our whole Champions League campaign, to be honest with you. A lot of huffing and puffing, a lot of good stuff, and we end up just coming away a bit frustrated. And kind of, I don't want to say there wasn't we lost the legs and all the rest of it, but kind of maybe we a wee bit demoralised, and I can understand why. There's the weirdest, strangest feeling, because I think I read somewhere that this was our worst finish, like our worst points total in the Champions League group stage ever, or in the last however long anyway. I read.
Yeah. And
I was so surprising when you're sitting reading it, because we've come away, and we all come away with, I think a lot of us have come away with a lot of belief in what we're going to, but at the end of the day, the results were like that. When you read that stat, you're like, it's bad. And there's been previous campaigns that we've obviously done far better, far better points wise and all the rest of it. But I feel like I came away with more at this campaign than I have. It's strange. It's strange because the results haven't gone our way, but I just feel like there's loads and loads of positives to take away. And I think the game was, just like I said, it just was the absolute story of our whole campaign.
100%. But we'll get into the positives, which there was plenty of, if we're honest, and the negatives too, Willie. Which again, there was plenty of it. There was plenty of them to talk about. My favourite subjects. No, I'm joking. No, but before I get into all that, I forgot again to do our show sponsor. Beer 52 just above me here. If you want your case of beer, Beer 52/Celts. Get your free case. You cover the postage. It's great. Coffee flavored beer, anything you want. IPAs, all dark ales, pale ales. You'll love it. And again, the Super Six, Willie. Franny has managed to sneak to the top again.
Again, fucking hell, man!
He
should get points deducted, because I heard that he predicted that Celtic would get beat again, so he should actually get fucking 20 points deducted for being a fucking Dairy Dunker.
Well, to be fair, I predicted Celtic would be beat like so.
You should get fucking points to that as well then.
Franny Carney is top with 169. James Bhoys with 166, Alistair Jack third with 159, and rounding off the top 5 is Jamie Latimer and Kevin Hamsley. I mean, the closest to him is James Bhoys, so come on, James, get stuck right out about him, get him off the top spot. But again, 100%, I get what you're saying in terms of the game. When we were discussing it, as I said before, it wasn't like we were scared to go to the Bernabeu and get rolled over and we're going to get absolutely smashed. It was kind of more optimism of what we could possibly do going to there, because you think, We get a good result with Livy, albeit again not to the level or anywhere near the level of the opposition we're playing. It's all the kind of factors, the black kit, onto the lights. Bernabeu not quite the same because it's under construction, but still a beautiful arena. And then obviously Real Madrid come into it. We'll touch upon the penalties first of all. Just a quick one day before we went to them. Penalty kicks for you, Willie?
No. I would. You know what? I think the first one you've got to give, and the second one with the letter of the law, it has to be given. But the second one's a fucking shocker for me. I think it's just ridiculous, this rule, that how he's meant to get away, how he's meant to pull his arm. Joe Hart said it at the end. Is he meant to chop his arms off? And see this is see what it comes down to this as well, because I know this is all like subjective and it's like somebody's it's a different opinion still, even though VAR's in. See, this is the thing for me. I don't dislike VAR. It's not VAR, it's the people behind it making the decisions, because VAR's just giving you a second check, right? Saying that, if we didn't have VAR, that's not a penalty, it's not getting given. She's have to go. The referees went and looked at it, but I think the rule is if your hands are in an unnatural position, right? See if somebody's fucking scoring a ball at you for 2 yards. What's the natural position? Just to put your face in front of it. I mean, and the other thing for me as well, which I think is a massive point, and I think it was a rule until this new ruling came in, is the ball was fucking hitting the corner flag. I can understand if that ball's flying in the top corner and he's got in the way, right? I can understand that. Then it's maybe like, you know what? That's stopping a proper goal scoring opportunity. Then maybe the ball's hitting the corner flag. I'm not having the second one, even though I know the letter of the law. It's probably, it probably is a penalty. But I know we'll touch on it. But I thought the referee was an absolute shambles. What did you think of the two penalty decisions? The first one's difficult as well, because if he strikes that right, I don't think Jens is going to handle it. I know Jens makes a bit of a melee, to be honest with you, and I know it comes into the ground and it kind of digs into the ground rather than whatever, and Jens kind of puts his arm towards it, so I can understand that one a bit. And I don't know what he was doing. He was on his knees when he handled it as well. It was such a strange one.
It was almost like Jens dived towards the ball and it ended up just falling into it and being like, oh no, and he knew it was a penalty straight away. Jed Thomas, great point. Hard to dive before the penalty takers even kicked the ball. 100% agree with that, Jed. He was giving away his position on the two penalty kicks. But yeah, go back to the penalty decisions. For me, like, again, I'm not going to be trying to deny anything here. If that was in the SPFL, we'd have been crying out for that. And I think, personally, letter of the law, VAR, it's penalty kicks, both of them. Kaiser, both of them, 100%. But the way I look at it is as well, you look at, this is me going back to my tactical brain here, Willie. You look at different phases of play. We could have stopped that 3 or 4 times for the ball weaving into the box. There was opportunity. There was opportunities to get into the players or even make a tackle or put pressure on them, but it just seemed a bit placid. And then before you know it, you're 2-0 down in the first 21 minutes. It's incredible. And the likes of Modric and Rodrigo, who scored the penalty kicks, absolute ballers. Rodrigo's only like 19, but he's an absolute machine, a wonder kid. But yeah, they're penalty kicks, really. And I can get the argument maybe why they're not and why we didn't like them given. But if it was against us, we're taking it.
I know, I agree with that. I just think the O'Reilly one's just, I just don't understand what he can do there to get himself out the way. I just think that, and I understand with the letter of the law, but I just, for me, I just think it's fucking, if that's a penalty, I think you're going to fucking have 100 a game. But to touch on Hart as well, and you know, I'm a massive Joe Hart fan, but that first goal shouldn't have come to a penalty anyway, because he should have he should have gobbled that ball up. He looked like he was coming to it, and then decided, oh no, I'm not having that, and kind of retreated again. He should come out and take that ball, so it shouldn't have even got to that position.
What annoyed me about it wasn't even like the player was literally on him. He had about 2 or 3 seconds thinking time. He came out a wee bit, and then he backtracked away. Their player, I can't remember who it was who got it to the byline, but he was already there before our player. I think our player stopped at that point. I think it was Jens maybe covering.
Jens, it was,
and then you're getting to that point. You're fearing the worst.
Do you think this is because Hart's had a few clamours recently, and I know I'm a big fan. I think he should still be on number 1. I think there's a lot more good that he's done than than bad this year, but he has had like a few clangers, the one against Leipzig and that. Do you think he's lacking in confidence? And that was a bit of a, I don't want to have it drop another clanger, and that's why he kind of retreated, because he was fucking out the blocks like Usain Bolt, and then just decided not, and then retreated again. Do you think he's lacking in confidence?
It's like he's lacking in confidence in his own ability, which is strange, because at league level he's brilliant and he pulls off fantastic saves. He comes out, closes down players, but as it goes back to that point, it seems to be a mental block at the moment, Willie, in European football, where we play well, as you said, for the first 25, 30 minutes. We look like we're going to maybe score a goal, take an opportunity, and then we're hit. We're hit by just something, comes out of the blue, and then we're down. And I'll come back to you on Joe Hart, right? This may be controversial.
I want to come back to you when you come back to me, too.
I'll come back to you anytime, Willie. You know that.
I
don't think Joe Hart will be our number one next season. I think we will get a new goal. I think we'll get a new goalkeeper, and that's no slight on Joe Hart. The reason why I'm saying this, and the only reason, is Postecoglou always says we're evolving. His tactics evolve, and we know his tactics evolve from the back to front. Yep. And he wants a goalkeeper who's like a sweeper keeper. Joe Hart's doing that role really well at the minute, but in 1 to 2 years' time, it could be someone different, in my opinion.
It's interesting you say that. Did you see Ange's press conference today?
A bit of it, Willie, but
he's talking about the transfers and how he's always looking 2 windows ahead now. He says when he first came in, obviously it was a matter of just get bodies in the door for the team, but now he's looking 2 windows ahead, and it's being ready, because there'll be a point where we'll lose. There'll be outgoings, and we need to prepare for that. And he's that's a couple of times he's come back to now, like some of your favourite players might be leaving, and it's a natural thing and all the rest of it. And I don't know if he's maybe got that in his head. You're right, but see this thing. I wanted to come back to you on Joe Hart then, right? See how we feel like he's got, because I think he's got a bit of a loss of confidence at the moment. And we're always praising Ange for all the stuff, right? And people say, well, you can criticise him as well. What do you think? Calmack's been at the team. What do you think, given CCV the armband instead of Joe Hart's done for his confidence as well? Do you not think that may have proper dented his confidence too?
I mean, Jed Thomas, unfortunately, when a keeper makes a mistake, it's magnified 100 times. Yeah, 100% agree with you, that, Jed. But it could affect his confidence, but we were all led to believe he was second in command, or the vice captain, as people called him. He was like the second captain. In some interviews, people have said. It was a strange one, in my opinion, because you're thinking Hart, he's going to be the natural successor. But then again, the person doing the team talks, really, in the huddle has been Greg Taylor. So effectively, if you give it to Hart or figures, Greg Taylor's still going to be in there in the mix, giving the instructions.
I think Hart's very vocal in that as well. I just think that if he's been low in confidence, I think, me personally, I think it's been a bit of a bad decision not giving him that, because everybody knows he was vice captain for the whole last season and the beginning of this season. I think just maybe giving CCV it, and I think it's maybe, we touched on it a few times in the pod, and it was like because he has had a few clangers, Ange's not giving him the armband just because he's confidence. But I think it could work. I think it could have worked the total opposite way, and it's actually knocked his confidence, because it seems like the gaffer's not got confidence in him to take that leadership on. And I think Joe Hart's he's got to be the vice captain. And Ryan Kelly said it earlier. He says that you need to remember about him keeping us in the game against Hearts and St Johnstone and all the rest of the Hearts. I think the first goal we scored was he got out well and taken it out Snodgrass's feet, and we ended up scoring for that. So I think he's still got a massive part to play, and I don't know. I just thought it was interesting, that whole captain thing, and it's maybe knocked his confidence a bit.
But then you have to ask yourself, why was he not given it? And as you said, does that allude to the fact maybe the manager doesn't have, not to step up really, but to be that captain? Does that take away from Joe Hart's performance? Does that take away from what the team are doing? Because as you said, like for England, I remember I used to be, right, I'm going to be honest here, I used to really dislike Joe Hart. And every time I seen him in the tunnel for England, he was always going rah rah, all hyped up, shaking and dancing and going mental. And it was like, sometimes for me that could be a distraction. I don't know if I want my captain personally to do that. I don't know if I want my captain jumping around, going mental with players all the time. Which back at then, by the way, watching him for England play, and even Man City to an extent, he was always he was known for that, just going buck mad. And yeah, Michael McDonald. I'm not saying that I don't think is a part to play. I'm just saying that maybe for the way Ange is saying he's looking forward to 2-3 years' time the window. You have to remember yourself, the second window coming up in summer, so there could be a goalkeeper, and there no one's position safe at Celtic Football Club. We all know that. But effectively, when you draw it back, has Joe Hart ever been a captain anywhere he's been? Was he City captain for a while?
I think he was for a bit, yeah.
Until Company took over that. And
well,
then
unless he was vice captain there. I can remember him wearing the armband, but I would imagine that Company was a captain and he was.
But maybe there's an issue with Hart being overhyped, over like Sellis, over like Superant, and sometimes players don't react to that. Maybe Vickers was the right kind of the foil to put the captain's armband round. Taylor being the guy who gives the orders and talking people through the game, and Joe Hart could focus on the back four. And it is a strange one. Joe Hart is a good keeper. Seen us going for a ball, 100%. Joe Hart is a good keeper, and you touched upon it. He saved us at domestic level, but for me, Willie, at European level, he's been found wanting.
I think Jed nailed it when he says that it gets magnified because we've not had many negative results this year. Obviously, not domestically. We've had a few in the Champions League, and he's made mistakes in these games. He's also made a couple of mistakes in games that we've won in, but because we win, nobody talks about it. As soon as we lose, somebody needs to find somebody to. He does. So does that's Calmac in a nutshell as well.
Everyone's hitting me saying this new goalie talk.
But he's what was I saying now? No, there's been certain games that we've won and he's not been. But as soon as there's a negative result, like fans, it's only natural they need something to jump on and somebody to blame. And whenever he makes a mistake, it seems like he kind of gets made a bit of a scapegoat. And fair enough, if he's making mistakes, then he should get criticised. But I think it just depends. It all just depends on the result. I think if the guys were firing up front and like the Leipzig one, which the clanger, obviously we got beat. If we won that game, everybody would have been saying, "Oh, that was a clanger," but it wouldn't have been blown up as much as it did because we got thumped.
Yeah, see as well, right? You bring up the strikers, and I think that's a great point. If they were scoring their goals, maybe things could have been different. Kaiser comes in. Joe seems to buckle under the microscope. Joe signs his mental damage from Man City. Down it at the top, it makes him falter sometimes and second question himself. I can see that. I can see where you're coming from, that Kaiser. That's actually a great point. But let's touch upon the forward players in this game. For the first 20, 25 minutes, right? Take away the penalty kicks. I thought we were on top.
Yeah.
I thought we were playing some wonderful football. Thought the players were linking well. Thought again, by the way, Hatate was excellent during that period. He was dipping the defence, going to the attack, linking play, box to box, absolute warrior of a player. And again, Michael McDonald, are we all happy most of our Japanese boys are missing the World Cup? Yes, I am happy. You know what I mean? But
nah, I'm not.
I know you're patriotic and all that, but looking at it, right?
I'm not Japanese.
No, if you don't mean you want players to fight for their country.
Yeah.
Looking at the whole kind of Champions League campaign, we have failed to take our chances continuously, right?
Yep.
Kyogo started this game, and I think I know why, for the pressing and all that type of stuff that he offers, right? Is it unfair to say, back to this argument again, if Jack and Marcus started most of the games Kyogo did, we would have took more opportunities?
Well, obviously, it's like you can't for sure say, but I mean, I've always said he's a better finisher for me. If Kyogo's more a reactive finisher, I've always said if he's got time, it seems like he's not as clinical. That's not to say he's not. He's obviously some of his goals and his goal record for us is phenomenal, but. I would say that there's
John giving us grief for her name.
John's
leave us alone, John.
John's the fucking wrestling know-how. I mean, it's difficult to say, but I mean, there's definitely some chances that we've had. The one off the top of my head is was it Shakhtar where Kyogo's got the header, or was it Leipzig? Yeah, I mean,
no, it was
nine
Leipzig,
times. 9 times out of 10, Big Gigi's putting that in the back of the net. But I mean, the first Shakhtar game, Gigi had a shot for the penalty box, for the penalty spot, and put it wide. There's, you know what I mean? So I mean, it's difficult to say. I personally think that Gigi's a far better finisher, and I would have probably started him in the majority of the games. But I thought Kyogo did well that first half. I thought he really hassled, he pressed well, he got on about it, he had a few opportunities. I mean, the one where it gets flashed across for the left, I think Haksabanovic brings it in and he lunges for it. Abada's at the back post. It's fucking on for him on a plate. I don't know if Abada shouts or not, but it was such a good opportunity. Hatate had a few shots on goal. He thought he was excellent. See, if you look at the stats, the shots on goal and shots on target and all that, they're pretty similar to what Real Madrid had, but they're clinical at this level, and we weren't. And to be fair, a lot of our shots were shots for the edge of the area, right down the keeper's throat. Just not clinical enough again. But I mean, we had our chances. We definitely could have scored. A lot of them were from the edge of the area, like I said. The one again, the fucking referee. I know we'll get into the referee, but see that Matt O'Reilly challenge where you couldn't have a cleaner tackle, and you can't tell me this is another fucking. Here we go, right? Going to a Tomlinson rant here. It's another fucking thing with that, right? VAR's in place for that. We've got this stupid rule now where it's like if it's offside, the linesman's not to flag, and they continue play, and then they'll bring it back and look at VAR, right? Why is that challenge getting blown up there? Why is that not getting allowed to play on? Because that's a massive, massive opportunity for us. O'Reilly, it's as clean as you like, that challenge. And he's on that right wing at the edge of the box, and we've got about 4 or 5 men in the box. Massive opportunity. And she blows up for the free kick. And it's like I say, it's as clean a challenge as you'll see. What's the point in VAR if that's the case?
Well, you think in European football be used properly, wouldn't it? Do you know what I mean? You played in the end, you see the phase of play out, and then it goes back to VAR, 100%. The Matt O'Reilly thing, by the way, he was excellent again, playing that position. I thought he really get in about players a lot. And see, to be fair, I know players like Madrid and Kroos and look far quicker on him, but he done his best, and he gave us all in that game. He was fantastic for me. But he won that ball cleanly, and it was right hand side. There was the right back was out of the game. They were pushing up because they thought they were attacking. Yeah. That could have went anywhere. Yeah, that could have went anywhere. Could have been a goal, could have been a penalty kick with VAR or whatever. It's one of them ifs, buts, and maybes, isn't it? You look back in them kind of opportunities and think to yourself, what could have happened there? But the touch again on players. Now another one who I thought had a really good game. He's come in for a lot of criticism. I'm not going to say Moy, by the way. I don't know what you're grinning for.
No, I know that's what I was going to say. I'm waiting for you to fucking because I will touch on
Dyson Maeda had an absolute stormer of a game for me. I really did. I thought he was pressing and he got in behind a lot of times. And do you know another thing he didn't do? He didn't make the rash decisions like he did before. He was whipping balls in, he was cutting balls back to players, he was getting involved in play, taking their right back on, Carvajal. And it was a great matchup the whole game. Who in terms of who impressed you then, Willie? Who would have been in your forefront? You can't even say for a play of the match, right? We got spanked. Let's not paint the picture like we were absolutely fantastic. We got smashed. And at the moment, Champions League level is not where we are. We're going to touch upon where maybe is our level, but for you, Willie, in that kind of environment, who impressed for you there?
And just in this game?
In that game, yeah.
Yeah, Hatate was our best player. I thought he was absolutely excellent. He was everywhere. O'Reilly was brilliant again. By the way, big up Starfelt coming back. I thought he had a really good game for coming. Imagine you being injured for weeks and weeks on end, you coming back your first games in the Bernabeu. I thought he did really well. I thought Maeda had a decent game. I thought Kyogo had a good game as well. But I think, the subs coming on.
Oh.
I thought the subs coming on, and I know everybody. There's been a bit of clamour about how a lot of these guys should have probably started, and I can understand that because I thought they made a difference when they came on. But the game was done by the time they came on as well. So Real Madrid kind of dropped into first gear again. Yeah. But you're right, mate. We keep clamouring, we keep praising the team and saying we've been very unfortunate and we've been very unlucky. But at the end of the day, we've been battered a couple of times in this Champions League. It's kind of brought us back down to earth a bit. And you can play well all you want, but if you're not getting the results, then it's not good enough, and it's not been good enough this Champions League. But as we've said, there's lots of positives, I think, going forward. Lots of lessons learned. And listening to Ange's press conference today, Andy's post-match interview, where he said he's not disheartened. He believes we're on the right track. I feel the exact same way. I think we are. We're definitely on the way. Do I think we can improve our team? Do I think we can sign players and improve a team? 100%. But I think there's a good nucleus of the squad that's going forward can really, really do damage at this level. And I think as much as we, points-wise, results-wise, it's not shown. I think we did. I think we showed we belong in the Champions League. I think we've competed. I just think that luck's not been on our side, and I don't want this to sound like fucking he's got the violin out, because we were fair and square. We were beat and we were pumped in a couple of games. But as we keep banging on about, if we take fucking one or two of these chances, then the results are totally different. On another day, we're beating Shakhtar twice, and we're having a totally different conversation. I don't think in previous seasons, under the Strackens and O'Neills and Rodgers and stuff, I don't think we've created as many chances as we have in this Champions League campaign. I don't think that at all. We've just been more clinical, and it's a hard one. It's a bitter pill to swallow, because
bitter swallow.
Bitter swallow to follow. Because I really think we deserved a lot more out of the campaign than we got.
There's no doubt we deserved a lot more, right? And again, I'm not printing pretty pictures in the sky here for thinking we're all clouds and rainbows and that. I still stick to my original narrative that I think it's a failure that we don't have European football after Christmas. I think sometimes we can be distracted by talks of processes, by talks of if we take chances. The bottom line is we didn't take them chances. We can't go back and play a game. We can't go back and make a chance to win. We didn't take them. We weren't clinical enough. Yeah, we played well. 100% there's positives on that front. We had an identity. We stuck to what Postecoglou wanted. Even Joe Hart came out and said it's way to manage, even though at that time it was harsh. I still think it is. He shouldn't have said it. But again, the players are sticking to that mentality that this kind of, what's that, for the labourers, that type of thing. They'll get the results in the end. Sometimes I think I don't know what it is, right? There's a hypnotism, I think, sometimes with the Celtic support at the moment with Postecoglou, in terms of what he says and what the team's producing, in terms of, we're playing this football, we're the top three created chances, top three shots taken, top three on target, but the results don't really show for that.
Yep.
And we do the stats drop on the Endless Celts podcast as well, which is back on Sunday. I just don't want to be distracted with all pretty fucking words and people saying this and that. Well, I do want to come back to you on one thing. You mentioned the player trading model there in terms of what's going to happen in 2 to 3 windows, right?
Yeah.
Postecoglou alluded to it. He said for clubs who are like us, like Bruges, you look at Shakhtar, RB Leipzig to a certain extent, Ajax, they've got a ruthless trading model. And even, by the way, Brentford, who I like keeping an eye on, because they do the exact same thing, the whole Moneyball thing. He was talking about maybe that, as you said, letting some of our players go. Mm-hmm. I'm going to throw a 2-pronged question at you. If so, who could that be? And I'll put a wee side note in there. What fee we're talking? And the player trading model, this aggressive one that he's talking about, for me, that gets me excited. It shows we won't stand still.
Yeah.
It shows we won't wait in free agents or loan deals that the English Premier League give us on a whim. It shows me that he's looking to the future and he's not looking for a move away. He's steady and he wants to be a Celtic Football Club. But the only issue, if we let our best players go, it's a double challenge to bring in better players than them to be better next season in the process in Champions League. Yeah,
it's a difficult one. I'm like you. I was really pleased to hear what he was saying. I feel like in the past, I don't know, the board, I suppose you could say the board and all the rest of it, it's kind of a matter of if it's not broke, then why try to fix it? Like we are like what happened when Lennon's last tenure. I think because we were winning treble after treble, it was like a matter of it's not broke, don't fix it. And we were kind of being reactive and not proactive. and it was kind of like we're winning everything domestically, but it's the same. It's pretty much because through the years we were pretty much the same 11 throughout the years, give or take 2 or 3 players. So it was kind of like they're successful, so like what, you don't need to change anything because it is successful. Whereas Ange isn't like that. He's obviously very proactive and he's thinking about how can we better this.
See as well. Is that a marked difference from the likes of, for example, a Neil Lennon? Because when he came in, we had Ayer, Elyounoussi, Edward, Christie, whoever it may be, and they all kind of made it publicly known they wanted away, right?
Yeah.
And he was reluctant to do that. And as a fan base, I think we were pretty naive and we didn't want him to leave either. But has Postecoglou shown us something that could be a hindrance for a football club? If a player wants to leave, you cash in, you move on, and you replace him.
Yep, and he said that himself. He said it's not like we're forcing players out of the club. It's just a natural thing that happens, and when that does happen, you need to be ready to be, like I say, proactive and bring someone else in. I was really interested when I heard that. What's he saying?
Brilliant point.
Aye, Kenny, it was brilliant. Aye, and I know what you're saying about. Because it was a failure. The Champions League campaign this year was a failure. It was not good enough.
It was a failure
results wise. But when you say about what was it you said about Ange, and he's kind of got this.
It's like a hypnotism, right?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying with that.
I
understand what you're saying about that. But what I would say is, I'm not so sure it's a like. I think that as well, I'm not kind of like that. I think you're like this. As fans, very passionate, but it's like the initial reaction to something, and it's like that's initial reaction. Like that was fucking this, that, but whereas I think Ange, this is why I love sitting listening to him after games, because he sees the wider picture and he kind of sits back and says, yes, right, yeah, and he says himself like, yeah, we need to be better and it needs to, but. And it's like, look at this, look at that, look at this. We talked about these stats, right? And I know, like, we've had a fucking nightmare, but if you're playing 30 games over a season and you're consistently putting up the numbers, you're going to score goals and you're going to win more than you don't. I know we've not done it in this Champions League, but so there is something there to hold on to. It's not like the team across the city who are sitting in and just getting absolutely battered up and doing the place everywhere they go, and it's murder going into the games. Right, but like Ange has got. I think it's not. I wouldn't say it's because, like I said, I would criticise them earlier, so it's not as if he's got a spell over me. But whenever he speaks, I just think he talks complete sense and brings a sense of calm. When everybody's kind of on their high horse about what's happened, it's like wait a minute, let's just sit and look rather than just looking with the blinkered headlights on. Let's take a sit back and then look at all of this, and then you kind of go, all right, okay. So that's what I would say about Ange. I wouldn't say so much it's a hypnotic. What was that I said the other night before he was coming on? I texted you boys and I said, you know what, I'm feeling absolutely gutted about this game and I'm so frustrated about everything. And I don't really get like that, but I was so frustrated after Real Madrid. But I was like, but Ange is going to come on and he's going to. I can't remember the term I used, but. Calm you down. Nah, it wasn't calm me down though. Can't mind what it was, but it was talk sense and make it like just tell us it's all right because it
is. Standpoint on reasons Michael McDonald. Sometimes I say a better name, but when I'm bored, I say that. There you go. But I think the way I look at it, right, and it's like it annoys me, Willie, because we know for a fact different managers has different reactions, and that's fair enough, right? That's grand in the whole scheme of things. It's just because what's frustrating me is we're kind of hanging on to these stats. We're hanging on to the hope we're going to improve without really realizing that the teams who are in and around us this season, they'll do the exact same. Yep. So a Shakhtar is going to improve, and RB Leipzig are going to improve. So their level of player again becomes one level above us. Mm-hmm. So is this going to be a continued excuse every single season? Because for me, the way I look at this, and it's a two thing, I seen in the AGM thing when I was reading the 5 key points, and I mean, I didn't get to watch the live video, but I kind of get the gist of it. And his vision is for us to be a Champions League club and compete in it year on year and all of that. Yeah, history's worst, 100%. The way I'm looking at this is, what if we get the next year, Willie? Right? Let's talk about this, and we do the exact same thing again. Just for example, we get a Barcelona, we get a whoever's in the group, top teams, and we come out of it going, you know what? We had 12 shots. We were in the top 3% of shots taken in the Champions League, but we got 2 points. Doesn't wash with me. It really doesn't wash with me.
But we've not had anything to go on for last season. I know what you're saying. If that happens next season, I'll probably be the same as you. I'll say, well, there's no improvement here. So what's going on?
But then what does that lead for you? What does that lead for you then? Because if that happens, right? Because we're not stupid to know, right? If this aggressive trading model's only started since Mark Lowell's come in the head of recruitment, it's going to take a couple of years to get into effect, right? Before you can start paying maybe 10 million plus for a player, if we ever get to that stage. Then we go in next season. And there's been whispers about it before. We all know this, finances and all this dictate, right? But Postecoglou, we know, doesn't really want to say that or go down that rabbit hole. What if, again, we go into the Champions League campaign and finish 4th?
Yeah. No, if it does, see if that happens again, I'll be right with you there, mate, and say this hasn't been good enough. We're wanting progression, it's not happened. But like we didn't have that last season. So it is a progression this season. So this is so right now in this moment in time, it's like I say, it's so fucking difficult because the results haven't went our way and it's terrible, but like I feel fairly positive about the campaign, even though I shouldn't, because it was a failure. 4th is not good enough. When we all did the Champions League draw, we were buzzing. We wanted Madrid, buzzing. And we wanted a couple of teams that we feel like we could have a go at, and we probably should have done better. To be fair, in hindsight, I thought Leipzig were a proper side. By the way, they've got a good side and they're a good team. If I knew they were that good at the time of the draw, I don't think I would have been half as excited. But because we've not had that last year, this is a progression to now, and it's most definitely a progression for when Lennon left us and absolute shit. So
1,000,000%.
I totally agree with you. If we come to next year and it's the same, then I'll be starting to point fingers and go, right, what's going on now? This isn't good enough. And like you said, this is what we're talking about. We're talking about selling players and all the rest of it. Jed's bang on. Listen, we're a selling club. We always have been. Players. I've no doubt in my mind that players from overseas come to us, and we're a stepping stone. It's a get in the shop window for a bigger move to the fucking EPL, which is a joke. But that's always been the case. You get a certain few that fall in love with us when they're here and stay longer. I'm hoping that's but you made the comment earlier, and you were like, we're talking about being selling, and there's going to be some big money moves, and I didn't really actually answer it about who would I be wanting? Who would I be wanting to let go, and who
would, right? So what excites me is, right, you mentioned there players come and go. We've been a selling club, but what I think Postecoglou's talking about, if we put it in perspective, he's talking 1 to 2 years max. Sell on, repeat, and keep going. And that if just for example, Kyogo continues an upward trend, cash in after 2 years. Jota, cash in, and then you receive bigger fees because their contracts haven't winded down. Then you can maybe spend a bit more in players. That's what I'm looking forward to. And I'm not wishing any players away. But if we get a model, let's be honest, if we get a model where we can go out and spend 10 million plus on the player, I'd be buzzing. Buzzing. And then, but yeah, back to the point. Who do you think maybe Postecoglou's alluding to? That could be the first big name player away.
That's a hard question. Who do I think he would? I don't know. If it's me personally, I would like. If you're asking me who I would let go of, personally, I would let go of the likes of Juranovic. I know there was a lot of rave about him last year, and I think he's a quality player. I think he's a more than decent player. But if we had, that scares me. What Jed's saying.
See, that's the thing. That's exciting for me, because if you're cashing in at a high ceiling, then you can go out and spend someone to come in and replace that straight away.
Yeah, I just kind of I fall in love with these guys, man. So it scares
Yeah,
me. But,
100%,
but at the same time, I was in love with fucking Edward and
Yes.
Armstrong. They're all gone, and I couldn't care less now. So like you know what I mean? There's there's light at the end of the tunnel with all that stuff as well. But that scares me. I don't think, and I understand what they're saying, but I think that he's started building a squad, and I think he needs to keep the heartbeat of the squad and the nucleus of the squad, and they guys. I'll cry, Kaiser. I will.
He will
I've done
cry.
it before.
He will
I'll do
cry.
it again. The likes of Juranovic and stuff, if we get big money, Ibada is another one. Would I be sad to see him go? I would be sad, but got big money for him. Yeah, I like.
Here's the key. Here's the key. Listen to this, right?
So who would you? Would you be quite happy to see them go?
But
what
this is the key. This is the key for me, Willie. Right? This is a quote. If the timing is right, we won't be in fear of letting someone go because we've already planned for it. That, to me, is not standing still because we've seen it too many times before. Ayer got disinterested. Edward got disinterested. Christie didn't want to play at the end. Then players go through a cycle. 2 to 3 years max, they're looking for another move. Let's be realistic.
Nah.
Yeah, we love a player, right? Yeah, we love a player. I love O'Reilly, Hatate, Abada. They're all cracking players, and we've all taken them to their hearts. But Postecoglou is going to be ruthless. If he sees an opportunity, he's going to take it. I don't see an issue with that. If we're looking at assets, you look at maybe off the bat, you look at Juranovic because he was the most talked about during the summer. And if we're led to believe the club's after him, which I think is a bit far-fetched, but Egyptian King comes in, Juranovic looks like his head is turned. If you get 16 million plus for him, 16 million plus for him, bye. No problem.
Yeah.
Get a replacement right back in. If you look at another one, maybe you're looking. Who could you be looking at here?
What if you're getting 15 for Hatate?
You have to be realistic with fees. He's worth more than 15.
Yeah, I agree.
You can't. I'm saying based on player performance and value in the market, Juranovic at the moment, 15 million plus, no problem. Hatate going to be laughed at here, but I think he can possibly break our transfer record with the likes of O'Reilly. O'Reilly has been talked about down in England like he's the next big thing. Loads of clubs are after him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you have to be in that type of aspect. Merle what Armoy. But in that type of aspect, you have to look at it because and I'll go back to if clubs like Ajax, albeit maybe the bigger transfer budget is 100%. Yeah, Alistair. Yeah, 100. If we get 30 million plus for any player, they are out the door. I agree. Until that becomes the norm, and then maybe you could push to something else. I wouldn't come to the table with 15 million. I think that's even too low, Egyptian King, really too low. And then, that's another great point, Paul. After the World Cup, there could be bids coming in for like Carter Vickers and that type of thing. But yeah, this Moneyball thing and this ruthless aggression in the transfer window excites me a lot. Anyone but him or Gigi, to be fair. But why does it scare you so much? Why not that I see a reluctance in you, Willie, but I can see your head turning when I mention names and you're like,
no, there's certain names that I just think that I think, like we say, we're talking about progression and like where we're going forward, and I think that Ange is building a proper squad. I love this team. There's no many teams I can remember in the past that I've loved much more, and I think it's the start of something. So I just think that if you're moving that on, it's like we're starting again. And I know what you're saying, we could get better in, selling on and we can get better in, but that doesn't always happen. It doesn't always work out that way. I think there's teams.
So you'd rather stick with the status quo then?
No. I'm not saying that, but I'm not saying like there's players that I would like if they went. I don't think it would make a massive difference to our squad, like Juranovic or like say I don't know, Abad or whatever. I think there's players there, but I just think there's 2 or 3 players that we'd be silly to let go of at the moment. I think Ange's building something, and I just don't think we should be letting definitely like Hatate and O'Reilly go anyway. I think they're like massive to the squad.
First one, Moneyball. Love that, Kaiser. 100%.
I don't think you get that for him.
Well, yeah, a bit generous, maybe 8. But yeah, what people don't realise is, right, and even myself, but reading up on money, but I just love the concept. Well, you can tell I'm buzzing about it. You accumulate transfer fees of 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 15, 20. Doesn't matter what it is. You accumulate the fees, you bring in players, you keep doing that. It's a recycling process, right?
Yep.
And I know what you're saying about progression, but I'm going to come back to here. Brentford, League One, right? Their players then put them up to the Championship, sold off. Got their players, Championship, get new players in, higher level. Premier League, some sold off to get more money. Then they replace again. Now they're an established Premier League club. So, although the team's amazing now, doesn't mean we can't sail off a wee bit and produce a higher level quality of player.
So what about, I tell you what say we were really successful in the Champions League this year, right? Say just hypothetically speaking, let's just say we go to the fucking quarterfinals or the semi-finals with this team.
That's a big one.
Oh, really? Nah, I'm not into that.
Oof.
Say we had a very successful season, right? Say we like just hypothetically, this team got to the quarterfinals or semi-finals of Champions League. You're happy seeing some of these guys go?
Yeah.
Because this is what I'm talking about. Their Ajax did it a couple of seasons ago. They should have made the final. It was a freak result against Spurs when Mora got the hat trick. They should have got to that final. That season, it was like both fire sale, everybody's gone, and they're nowhere near that level now. So what you're saying about selling people on and then you're bringing better quality in, that's not happened there. So it could go
there's a big difference with Ajax, though. A big, massive difference. It was an anomaly for them to get that far in the Champions League. Let's be honest. They done it, fair enough.
As it would have been for us. But if we were going there and we were a successful side and then you sell that off, there's no guarantee you're bringing in a better player, like you're saying, a better quality.
Well, are Ajax still in the Champions League?
Are they?
I think they are. Well, maybe Europa League now.
But they're nowhere near that squad that got to the semi-finals that year. So they're not bringing in better quality, like you're saying. You know, I know what you're saying about selling off, but it doesn't always guarantee that you're going to be. That it needs to be, the scouting needs to be right anyway. And to be fair,
but the counterproductive to that point is you're going to keep, hypothetically, an unhappy player who doesn't want to be there. So again,
no. If they're unhappy, if they're unhappy, they need to go 100%.
Yeah,
100%. But if Hatati's happy at Celtic and there's no one to go, and we get a £15 million bidding for him, you'd want to punt him at the door.
Didn't say 15. I didn't say 15. I said at least 20. They're talking 23, 25 in that bracket.
But then we get that. Say we get that in, no, Stephen, we're not going to spend 20, 25 million on another player.
Oh no, 100% no. But it's the accumulation. If we do that on the regular, then we can. Because your man.
Season's gone past. No. We've made a lot of money on transfer sales.
No, but I'm talking every second transfer above 20. That's what Moneyball effectively leads to, Willie. You're getting transfer fees. They accumulate and boost your bank balance. You look at your man Chris Mackay, the financial director. We're sitting net in the bank 30 million at the minute. I know we won't spend half of that on players, but again, that's a safety net as well in case anything goes wrong off the pitch, which is obviously a good kind of financial model to have in that aspect of things. But if you're accumulating fees, Willie, and people are probably hearing fed up me saying that word, you're going to spend more on fees. It was a big thing for us to spend £9 million in Edward, and we still haven't done it since then. We can do that again. I see no reason why we can't. But one thing I will give you, Postecoglou can spot a gem for 900 grand easy.
Yeah,
like a batter.
Aye.
So there's that type of thing. It doesn't have to be us spending all the time big.
Yeah.
If you're finding gem after gem after gem, and let's be fair, he knows the markets like the back of his hand, especially being over in Asia. Do you know what I mean?
Aye. I would just listen to what Ange says when it comes to, you can obviously spot a player. And I mean, spending money, like you said, it doesn't guarantee. I mean, we spent big money on. That's fair enough. But I just think there's no guarantee that somebody's. So you're talking about progression in the Champions League. We sell off our assets this season. Say right this summer, we sell off our assets. We don't bring in a quality player that matches.
How many are you talking about? You're saying assets in plural, like 5 or 6. I maybe said 1 or 2.
No. Even that, even 1 or 2 or 3, that could have a negative effect on the squad. We're going backwards, and in next season's Champions League, we're not even anywhere near what we did this year, and we're disappointed this year. I just think there's a fine line. I just think there's a tightrope there, and it's just a bit.
I'll throw two names at you, right? And
Right.
I could put Turnbull in here, but I'm not. Straight off the bat, if I went to you, Juranovic and Abada, 35 million for both of them. You're taking it.
Yeah.
And do you really think that would have a negative impact on the team as a whole?
No, but if it was a Hatate and O'Reilly, it would.
Yeah, but you took the two players and switched them. Yeah, I'm
saying.
saying.
No, I know what you're saying, but what I'm saying is, well, you just picked the two players, and that's your argument. What I'm saying is, if it's the two players, then we're fucked next year because we're not bringing in. I'm telling you now, you're not bringing in quality like they two.
Which is what I'm alluding to the fact that Coker read out. But if it's something they've planned for, they can let a player go easily. They'll do it. I'm naming two players. I'm naming two players that I think possibly they could be the easiest to get rid of. And I say get rid of. I'm not saying as in like I don't like them. I love the players, but I'm saying if we're wanting to evolve and get better.
I hear you.
Yeah, do you get what I'm saying now?
No, I hear you, but it just depends on who and what it is and what the situation is. I'd be sad to see Abada go, by the way. I'm not wanting him out the door.
Yes.
But if you get money, excuse me, if you get good money for him, then but I think he's a top prospect.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just an old-fashioned and an old sweetheart, but I fall in love with these guys when they come in, and I don't. It's sad to see them go. Like I say,
of course it is.
Like I say, 3 months after they've left, I'm not even bought my arse, and that's the point. Yeah, and I think we're in a position now that's Paul. You're bang on, mate.
Yeah.
I think that we're in a position now that's what we can look at. We're not needing 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 players in the window, 2 or 3 proper quality. And it was interesting to hear Ange say it in that press conference today as well, about how previously we've acted fast and we're aggressive. I really loved him using that term. Aggressive.
Brent Skelton is pulling on your heartstrings.
No. Gregory Taylor can't go. No way. He's got to play till he's 42.
But then
I love the term he used. He says we need to be aggressive in the market. I really like that term. And it sounded like January, never mind January, the next window and the window after that as well. But it sounded like January, he already knows what he's going to do. It sounds like he already knows who he's going to ship out and who he's got his eye on for coming in. And it's just so exciting for us because, like I say, previously, we've always got that label of the biscuit tin and all the rest of it. But it seems like Celtic previously in the past have been reactive, and it's like we get to the January window, we've not got anything in mind, and it comes towards the end of the window, and it's like, right, what's available? What can we get? Who's he? Let's get him in. He's past it, but he'll bring in revenue, so we'll get him in loan for 6 months, even though he's 34-year-old, and it's more reactive. Ange has got he's got the headlights on, and he's like, this is what we're going to do. This is the targets. This is who I want in, and I don't want to wait. Get him in. Last year, he pretty much signed the 3 Japanese boys before the window opened. It was done.
Yeah.
Get them in. This is what we're doing. This is what's happening going forward. It's so exciting to hear a man at the helm that can demand that straight away. But you can sell Juranovic, but you're not selling Hatate, or I'll fight you.
It's quite funny though. Like if you take it in the context,
big one, by the way.
Abada's switched agent to the same as Juranovic. Maybe there's no link, but it's quite interesting.
It's a really good one for Mero.
How much are you taking for Gigi? 12 mil.
Are you? I'm not selling him.
But every player has their price, let's be honest.
Oh, no, I mean, 100%, but...
People coming in, Kenny Dub in the chat, boys, absolutely brilliant, 100% appreciate it.
We're talking about Real Madrid 10 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour ago.
Anthony Dunn, cracking debate this as well. I mean, as you said, he's planned, and he, by all accounts, has signed a centre back already, Kobayashi from Fisel Kobe, where Kyogo came from. So again, that's what we're planning.
Here's one, right? Because I think, and like domestically, obviously, it's shown, and in Europe, I mean, it's shown to an extent. But I think going forward, we've looked superb. I know in Europe we've not been as clinical. So in January, are you looking to strengthen anywhere? Where are you looking to strengthen? Because for me, I think defensively we can definitely strengthen. But I think most of the other areas in the park, from midfield to front, I think we've looked really tasty, especially domestically, obviously. I'm not so sure we need much going forward, unless we're shipping out, obviously. But what do you think?
I will look at possibly the centre back of Kobayashi, that's covered. Another midfielder and looking to ship out Turnbull and McCarthy in that window, if possible.
Here's one for you.
Yeah, Michael. For me, like I get a lot of stick for it, but if Kobayashi wasn't kind of signed to say, there'll be Ryan Porteous for me coming in as a defensive cover. That's not being disrespectful. There is a lot of good players in the SPFL. I got a lot of good young prospects here up and coming who might end up one day at Celtic. We laugh and we joke. We lost out in John McGinn. If we cast our minds back, the Stephen Fletcher players they got. Stephen Fletcher possibly cost us a league title that year, but the board being stingy, not putting up the money. John McGinn, extra 500 grand, possibly one of the best midfielders down there at the moment. So, yeah, and Paul McFarland with no January break, we need players. What was that? Brought and ready to be placed. Yeah, 100%. And the Chips and King people are laughing at me already. But it's the way I look at it, right? And I dismissed Ross when he said this, and I'm probably a wee bit McGrath had done. He said a third striker. I think a couple of people, maybe Franny, said it as well. And I said no.
By the way, there's a lot in the chat saying striker.
I said no. But I said to you in the chat after the Real Madrid game, are we one lethal striker away from ripping teams apart at that level? That's a genuine question to you, Willie. Or do we have that lethal striker in GG and we just haven't utilised him enough?
Just about to say that. I think GG is a lethal striker. I think he's brilliant. I think he's an unbelievable finisher, and I think if you're getting him the service, he'll score you goals. And he's only going to improve. He's still a young boy. That's why I said if you get stupid money for him, you're going to have to let him leave. But I would try everything in my power.
Well, let's be honest. He may not end leaving. He may not end leaving himself because he might be fed up not getting started.
You think so? I'm not so sure. I think Ange's doing all right with the two of them, giving them both game time.
Paul McFarland nailed that there. Brilliant, Paul.
I think we have got a top finisher in GG.
Then why is he not be getting the chances?
I don't know. You take ask the gaffer that.
I'm asking you.
I don't know because I would give him. I'd have been starting him in the majority of the big games.
Yes,
100%. I'd have been starting him.
Yeah, I mean, if you cast your mind back to that game against Rangers, was February time. Yep. He ruffled their fellas. Albeit he didn't score.
It was man of the match. Didn't even score.
Yeah, but he was the reason probably why we won that game, keeping them occupied all that time. And Michael McDonald comes in.
Aye, that's a great shout.
We should have kept Doak. Hallelujah. I've been saying this for years. We let too much of our top prospects go.
Yeah, but
these guys keep laughing at me. Ben Doak is ripping it up for Liverpool's underage groups.
Aye, because Celtic didn't have a choice but to let him go. It's like you said, the other players because obviously he's wanting to go to Liverpool. He talked about no keeping unhappy players. He's obviously, if Liverpool comes in, he's going to jump at his chance, and he's obviously taking his chance. He's doing fucking brilliant there. But it's not as if like Celtic are like, oh, on you go. There's a prospect we love and we want to keep, but on you take him. It's like he's going to go to Liverpool. Why exactly?
Yeah. Nah, he is a great player. But I mean, kind of wrapping up the Champions League finance, trade model, transfers.
I don't want to wrap it up. Let's keep going, man.
No, we're not wrapping it up. I mean, we're going into another thing here, but in terms of...
Oh, here you go. No,
a few weeks ago
we're not talking about that. Your grandson's talking about that, not me. I didn't want to sell the team.
It's a trading model. I'm not saying sell half the team. I'm saying every player has their fee. And if the fee's met, bye-bye.
Simple. That's it. Stop trying to sell the team off.
He always gets me. So he does me all that. Like,
you can tell him in sales anyway.
I am in sales. How'd you clock that, Willie? Is it obvious?
Yeah, it is, aye.
But like kind of wrapping it up, I mean, in terms of Champions League, overall for yourself, buddy, how was it?
I think the override emotion was frustration. At the end of the game so far this season, I've not been sitting raging, but I was at the end of the Real Madrid game. I was just so frustrated. What about Jota's goal, by the way? hate to talk about
Oh
John's.
yes, John's goal. Yes, you've actually nailed that one.
And see all this crap about him celebrating it and people slagging him. Are you having a laugh? Just scored the goal in the Bernabeu. Lap it up, son. Well done.
See the reason why he celebrated like he did. Let's be honest, his idol played for Real Madrid for years. Cristiano Ronaldo. Do you know what I mean?
And he was saying, I don't know if you've seen his interview when they asked him about this was before the game. They asked him about the Portugal World Cup squad, and he was like, "Listen, I'm only concentrating on what I'm doing. The usual shite. I'm only concentrating on what I'm doing for my club and that. No, you obviously want to go." Yes. But he said in it, I was really interesting. He was like, 2 years ago, I wasn't even playing for a club. Yes, I was at Benfica, but I was playing in like the under whatever, the reserves and under 20s or whatever. And now they're talking about me going to a World Cup. He says it's magic, and I mean that's what Celtic can do for you. But I'd like to come to you because I know you want to do it, even though you've forgot. Go and tell us how good Moy was on Wednesday night.
Man, don't even get me started on that fella. Like, I really do not.
Listen, I'm a Moy fan, but he was fucking rank rotten Wednesday night.
Sorry, what?
He was rank rotten on Wednesday night.
Yeah. Reason why? Let's hear the reason why, because I'm really interested. I said every week and you just laugh at me, so let me hear the reason why he was rotten.
Well, it doesn't happen every week, but his ball retention was
pass level.
Giving the ball,
he can't run. He can't press.
Yeah, but I mean, you can say that about most of the team at the highest level. They've not performed because we've not performed this year. So you can say that about pretty much every player in the squad, apart from Hatate and O'Reilly, probably, that they've not performed and they're not good enough for this level. So I think it's just harsh to pick out Moy.
He does it to wind me up, Jed. This is the thing. No one was going to talk about Moy because
I think we were all surprised that he was starting on Wednesday night.
Yeah. Who would you have started? Just out of interest, would you have went with Haksabanovic?
I think I would have went with him in the 10, aye.
Same. I thought it was quite interesting. Kaiser comes in. I would let on sell the team as if he has ideas of replacements. Given he has seen a level of competition, it would excite me to see what he builds. What's your thoughts on that one, Willie?
I don't want us to sell everybody. I've just said that to you for the last half hour. I don't want us to sell everybody.
No, I don't mind. He's closed it.
I hear what you're saying, and obviously, if a price comes in, like there's like suit your hands, it's not going to. We're not going to say no, but I just feel like we're building. Ange's building something special here, and I think that 1, 2, 3 additions to the squad, like you said, we're pretty well off financially at the moment, and I think we can trim the squad down, but I wouldn't be getting rid of any of these guys that are in amongst the first 11, the likes of McCarthy's and all that you're talking about. I would trim the squad down and get rid of these guys, but I mean, fucking 8 weeks ago, start of the season, there's people. I'm not naming any names, Stephen. Wanted rid of Forrest, and he's been superb the last fucking 4 weeks. So, you know what I mean?
Wasn't me. Was not me.
So
I never once said I never once wanted rid of him. I said he has an involvement because he's experienced and he's a club legend, right. And he's came and scored 4 goals in 3 games. So hats off to him.
I'll find a podcast that you said you want rid of him, and then we can
never once.
And I'll post it in the comments. I think that we should be looking to add 2 or 3 to this squad rather than offloading players and trying to bring in better talent.
Alistair, don't think about
it. I think we're 1, 2, 3 players away from looking really, really good in the Champions League and dominating even more domestically. So that's what I'd be looking at. I'd be looking at the 2 or 3 we can add to properly take us to the next level rather than we need to sell. Personally,
it's quite funny. Like trying to sum up a failure in the Champions League, really, isn't it? We're trying to dress it up with pretty performances, and I 100% agree. But see, in reality, if you take the 64 plus 50 million plus 55,000 plus 68 million 5,000 on shots on target that we had, and we're in the top 3 for, we are. Well, there's Johnny Thomas to come in. Steve, you said Forrest is finished. I did say that, but I didn't say what. I didn't say I wanted rid of him. So let's end that there, right?
So if he's finished, what we got to do? Just pay him to sit on the bench.
Well, we do that with James McCarthy, so it works out pretty well. I mean, that's I throw one out to here just to end this. If we had a likes of, we could say Henrik Larsson, but let's be a bit more realistic. Saying hi from behalf of Lurgan Celtic, great to have you along, Shay. If we have a Moussa Dembele, if we have, I don't know, a Georgios Samaras, for example, up top, or whatever, really, go back to Henrik Larsson, we probably would have finished second, I'd say, in that group. What do you think?
I wouldn't disagree with that.
Yeah. It's interesting, really, isn't it?
Moussa's an interesting one, by the way.
Yeah. Why? Why is it an interesting one?
Because I think if we had the money, he would come back. Leon aren't they pulling up any great punches, are they? Are Leon a better team than us?
I wouldn't say so, but he's looking for a United or a Liverpool. That's where he's wanting to go.
How long has he been there for?
For 2.5, 3 years?
3 years. He went on a loan to Atletico for 1 year and couldn't have cut it there, obviously.
Would you take him back?
100%.
Would you start him above Kugo and Gigi?
Yes.
Oh,
if he was anywhere near the level he was when he was with us before, 100% I would.
What's this? Remember, no featuring Henrik finished higher than third. No, same with Moussa. I think I get what you mean, Anthony. Maybe explain a bit better on that. But
if we had Henrik or Moussa in this team creating the chances we create, we would, in my opinion.
Yeah, 100%. But did you notice today there was an AGM on the horizon, Willie? Did you see anything about that?
I didn't.
I mean,
you know me, I can't be asked for all the boards talking shite.
It's a load of. I mean, the only really one I can really.
It's on me today.
The only one I can really talk about. Ian Banker's replacement still hasn't been announced. I think we probably all know maybe who it's going to be.
Yeah, I've seen
the
rumours. I've seen the rumours. Yeah.
Yeah. And then there's been one about the glass incident when I think it was Joe Hart hit in the glass at Ibrox. There's been no explanation anything about that. But yeah, usual AGM stuff, blah, blah, blah. Boring. If you want to see it, go watch the video. But we'll move on. Willie. Brilliant. Egyptian King. Brilliant. We'll move on, Willie, back to domestic action tomorrow. Dundee United, home, 3 p.m. kickoff. Is it a come down or is it get your hat on, get digging, get the performance going, and get a win?
I don't think so. I don't think the team's feeling that way. I think they were during the game, to be honest with you. See the Real Madrid game, I think you come out, you're all excited, we've pressed well, we're doing well the first wee bit, and then you give away 2 soft penalties. I know you said they're both penalties in your opinion, but they're soft. And kind of deflated us a bit. And I think second half, I think us missing the penalty as well, proper deflated the team. I think you could have seen it. The heads kind of went down. But I don't think, I don't think you can be deflated when you've got Ange. He'll just say whatever he wants. What are you laughing at?
This is what I mean, the hypnotism. He speaks one word, you can't be deflated by Ange Postecoglou in charge.
Well, you can't. Is there anything he's ever said that you've been like, fuck off you?
The only thing that really concerns me is his cough, to be honest with you.
I know, it's a nightmare, eh? It's worse than
it never goes away.
I know. I was sitting watching his press conferences today and I was like, fucking, I wish this would end because it keeps coughing. It's annoying the life out of me. Yeah. But no, I think we're still on a high. I think domestically, domestically this season we've one wee blip with St Mirren, but we've been absolutely flying, playing some unbelievable stuff. Me too, Jed. It seems like every game that comes round now, I'm absolutely buzzing for like a child going to his first game, and it's because of the football we're playing. And I think that's the squad he's built, because I think in times gone by, if there's somebody that's missing in the squad, you're kind of like, oh Jesus. But I think whoever's replacing him, and we go back to it all the time. I go back to it all the time. But if Gigi starts tomorrow, we're all buzzing. If Kyogo starts tomorrow, we're all buzzing. I think so. So I don't think it kind of matters so much who's missing out. And I just expect more of the same. Rip roaring, playing the Celtic way, and scoring goals for fun, and looking slightly dodgy at the back.
I mean, that sounds a bit suspicious there, Jay. I'll get some stuff from work. I know you're a pharmacist, fair enough. But Shea, Allmore's forwards, boys, 100%. I mean, for me, getting into the game, I'm always excited when we're playing. I was buzzing for a game that firstly meant nothing in the grand scheme of things against Real Madrid. I'm equally as buzzing for Dundee United coming to paradise. I get 100% what you're saying. League form, apart from the blip. I mean, if we're looking at it, hold on, let me have a wee look. We are 33 points.
Like you're getting the sniffles too.
Dundee United have 9 points. Wow, they're 11th in the table. I was actually quite shocking.
No, I remember
we have
a poor start, sacked the gaffer.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's true. Actually, last 5 games, funny enough, we've won 5. Last 3 games to then, they've been unbeaten. 1-2, drawn 1. So there's a bit of an upward form there, but I don't really expect much in terms of them. I know they have the new manager, but he was basically part of that coaching team when I think got sacked anyway. But yeah, it's one I'm looking forward to. I think it'll be a sellout as well. But as we always do, Willie, score, lineup prediction, boom.
Oh, see this lineup prediction? It fucking changes every other week. It's so difficult to. But how long CCV out for?
A couple of weeks apparently.
Is he? So it'll be Starfelt, Jens. So Hart, Juranovic, Starfelt, Jens, Taylor. Although in fact they might play Ralston. I'll go Ralston. Midfield 3 of O'Reilly, Hatate, and Haksabanovic.
Thank fuck.
Like I say, see, especially now, see, just touching on Moy as well. See, for me, he's a number 6 all day, and I don't really like him too much in the 10. He is. No. So what is he?
Shite.
Ah, shut up. Yeah. Fruit pastel. I'd love to see Jota starting again. By the way, he's looked like he's rearing to go since he's came back. I know he's only had 2 substitute appearances, but he looks like he's like the kid in the playground chasing down every ball. Want to play.
See, they come back to that one. See, they come on against Madrid. He, I know it's a bit biased, but he looked like he belonged at that level. He really did. He was taking people on.
And he wasn't fit to get the shot away, even though most of them were right down the throat. Jota, I would go with Forrest and Gigi, and I think we'll pump them. I think it'll be 4-0.
Wow. 4-0?
Yep.
I'll go Joe Hart, Ralston, Jens, Starfelt, Burnaby, O'Reilly sitting, Hatate as the 8, Haksabanovic coming in as the 10, Gigi up top, Forrest on the right, and Jota on the left. What a lethal team, isn't it, when you actually say it on paper? Well, in your mind, on paper.
I don't like Haksabanovic in the 10, by the way.
You're wired to the moon. You're wired to the moon. His best position is 10.
No, I think his delivery on the left against Hibs, if we could have scored 6 in the first half because of him on the left wing. He's trickery. He's like Jota for me, but but for me, he's got a better delivery, and I just think he's so much better out on the left.
Yeah. Ryan Kelly, I'll add something else to our wish list for January or next summer. A natural penalty taker. Need our own version of Jorginho, who still does it consistently for Chelsea. They've actually been pretty fortunate with
There's one for you.
Penalty takers.
Who would you put on penalties now? O'Reilly? Technical player?
It doesn't. No. Hatate.
Would you?
Yeah.
Nah.
I think O'Reilly doesn't. Now this sounds stupid, but O'Reilly doesn't look like a penalty taker, so to speak. But do you know the way I'm saying that is right. Let's get this from here into this podcast, right? What I'm saying is, he doesn't look like the type of player he would kind of call him the keeper. He looks like his body shape would give away all the time. Where Hatate can go both feet and he can strike a ball really well. I put him forward for Hatate. Monte comes in. Well, McGregor's injured, obviously, so that's a bit awkward. Monte, Hatate, Egyptian King, Jota on pens. Yeah,
aye.
All things considered, I'll go for Celtic. But nice goal prediction tomorrow. I'll go 4-0. I'll go with you, Willie. I'll go with you.
Like it.
I can maybe see a couple of defensive mishaps. I mean, Fletcher, I think Watt's back. He's not getting suspended or they appealed his card anyway. So there we go. Frank Kennedy, a bit of realism here. Juranovic only missed one penalty.
No, I'm not saying. I think GG will still be the penalty taker. And I'm sure Giacomakis will still be the next.
When you know, like Mr. Anthony Dunn, shove it
I
up.
think we kind of text in the group chat a few years. I think Ross said it right. I said that it didn't look like he even picked a side. It was just a matter of just hit it as hard as you can and hope for the best. And I think Ross said it, and I think he's bang on. I think the Bernabeu I think he realised where he was, and that kind of got the nerves a wee bit. But I'm sure Juranovic will still be the penalty taker going forward. Yeah. Just thought it was interesting. If you were going to change it, then who would it be?
Well, grand the things, Jada. Paul McFarlane, that Hart take penalties, who still score more than Kent. But Willie, I mean, we'll round it off there, buddy. The
one more
Doom.
Did you see the coefficient?
No, why? What's happening?
We've dropped a place because everybody's been shit this year.
Who's above us? Is it Ukraine?
Belgium went up above us, obviously because of what Bruges have done. So I think we're now in 9th, and it's the top 10 means you get we get an automatic.
Thanks, Bradley.
I think it's top 10 means you get the automatic without qualification. So we're sliding down because of the bad performances this year.
Are we 9th then?
Scotland on 9th now. So hopefully Europe's we all do a bit better in Europe next season, and we stay in that top 10 because it's looking a bit ominous at the moment.
Michael McDonald, top show again. When's the next broadcast? Well, the next normal podcast is Monday, but we're going to do a stats drop, Michael, if that's your thing, all numbers and data and stuff. We're going to do that on Sunday, looking back at these previous games from an analytical point of view, which I quite like and learned about. I know it's not everyone's cup of tea, but it's just good crack learning about it, all numbers and that. Yep. Merle Watt, again, Jada. I mean, Jada's got probably most of the votes here, but Willie, have you enjoyed it, buddy?
As always, mate, great debate. I thought we were going to talk about Madrid, and we ended up talking about Moneyballs and Celtic team. So usual for us, we kind of go off tangent, but great debate as usual. This is what it's about.
Exactly.
We don't need to all agree. We have different opinions. Everybody in the comments has been great as well. I love the like you always say, we've got a wee community building now, and everybody's great. We just wish more of them would get in contact with us to come on the viewer takeover.
Yeah, 100%. Again, get involved in that viewer takeover. Frank Kennedy, Jed was on it, Ryan Kelly, Merle Watt, Michael McDonald, Gypsy King, all of you get involved in the viewer takeover. It's just us talking Celtic. Yeah, I'm having something up. I know Willie's on the beer, like, do you know what I mean?
It's Friday night, man. I think the thing is as well, we kind of discussed it, like, because we've had Kaiser and Jed on, and like we would love to hear them back on at some point. We just feel like we need to give other guys get other guys on first, because this is a viewer takeover thing. But I would love they two to come back on at some point. So hopefully more of yous come forward, we'll get more of yous on, and then it'll kind of become a wee regular thing as we get yous on every so often. Yeah,
and Alistair, you're up next, buddy, so get ready for it. That'll be a great night with us. Get the Moy top on. I'll wear one as well. I'll get one. I'll get Moy in the front of it, front and back. We'll be loving it.
I'll shave my beard. And
but Willie, great show, buddy.
Pleasure as always, mate.
And stay well and keep safe to everyone who's watching on. Hail, hail.